Hello, you know who I am. My name is Sherry Fatu Basha, and I've been electronically tortured since 2009. When it started, I was 29. I am 43 years old now. And before this started, or when this started, or when I actually noticed that I was being electronically tortured, I didn't know that everyone else knew. I thought that there would be someone who I was so gullible to think that, oh God, if everybody found out what atrocity is being occurring, things such as electronic torture, that they would run to our aid and help us and help us out of our prison, out of our cave of despair, and that didn't happen. I know electronic torture brothers and sisters that you are disappointed, hurt, and in despair because I am. See, now since I believe the beginning possibly of June, I have been I have gone from being able to walk freely to using a walker and a wheelchair. The pain, as you know, has become excruciating. I don't care what anybody say. If you are an electronically tortured victim, there is no way you could be an actual functional person in society because it's pain every day. It's somebody screaming in your ear that they do this because you aren't using your brain. You're not worthy. You are this, you're that. Nobody cares about you. Nobody loves you. You are just basically trash or shit. And I want to tell you, electronic torture victims, that's not the truth. I said what I realized is that these people are targeting and marketing and giving out pain and just are employed to cause the citizens of the United States pain under the guidelines of what? It's not the guidelines of peace or the guidelines of prosperity or the guidelines of what? It is just the sole belief that the U.S. government has the right to acquire had the right to acquire post-war and post-Nazi equipment that was used and formulated in those death camps. America used say that they had this weapon. They have the right to formulate it, manipulate it, and to horn it to their desire because it is one of the best doomsday devices or weapons that they have. And they believe that they will kill any citizen. They will take any citizen's life, no matter who it is. To have this particular weapon, to have electronic torture, to have the electronic torture tool horned to its precise ability to debilitate any spine, any bone, any nerve, even as much as to burst every blood vessel in your body. That's how horned that device is, or electronic tool is. Let me tell you something. And during this whole trial of 13 years, I thought about, oh my God, all this information printed, all these people. Every goddamn person in America knows my goddamn name. They know my goddamn face. And every electronically tortured victim knows the truth. And we hadn't even rallied together. We're afraid to meet, and even I think we're afraid to meet in the single room, as though we are afraid that those bastards will cause us more pain and destruction and debilitate our bodies more if we are all suited in one power on one corner, or suited in front of sitting in front of the presidential building screaming that I wanted to turn it off, to stop this electronic torture, to stop this weapon from being able to mass. Let me tell you something. I don't care. All these fools in America think that that the government is good and they'll do whatever they say. That damn device, the electronic torture device, can mass debilitate not just one person. It can be it has been horn enough to bust every blood vessel in my body, but also encompassing, it can encompass this whole goddamn side of this whole damn block, even beyond. I think that it can encompass and debilitate at least 6 miles out. I think that it can encompass and debilitate whole counties and states. That's how bad the issue is. So say your government says, these people are not following the parameter. Excuse me, they are not following the parameters that I have set down for a jurisdiction. I mean, for a specific state, county, city, whatever. That person, this damn these. The electronic torture device can go and debilitate that whole. From my perspective, it's at least I think it's at least 6 to 8 miles and beyond out of a designated target. So, say if they are targeting a municipal building, from what I understand, is that in the beginning, they would target a municipal building. But they from that municipal building, from 6 to 7, 8 miles out, they can go in, not only listen, watch, and manipulate all the technology within that vicinity, but they can debilitate. Hear me now clearly. They can debilitate, kill, burst any vessel in your body, any nerve, anything that promotes anything that promotes nerve affection, any space. So let me tell you something. They can burst your heart. They can burst your lungs. They can burst, yes, they can cause they can rupture your brain and your spinal cords. Yes, honey. They can rupture your uterus. Anything that holds a specific, they can rupture your uterus. They can kill you dead right now. They can rupture your heart. I'm telling you, at this point in time, and what I feel greatly is that everybody goes around because firstly, I feel that America, since the pandemic, there are a lot of misinformed, self-centered, childish, racist, misogynist fools running around. And those fools run around and try to dictate and tell everybody what is and what isn't going on, and using Trump and using Trump's name to condone their ignorance, silence, and to their ignorance and silence and unwillingness to help, because they don't want to. First of all, they want their own views met. They want their own power, whichever it has be, white power, green power, whatever power they believe, whatever they sexual power, whatever, white power, sexual power, whatever power they feel that they have. They want to perpetuate and solidify a U.S. Trump wants to solidify, perpetuate, and solidify a government that is that is not post, but before the civil rights movement. They want us to go back to, I believe this in my heart, is that Trump would love to take us back to the 1930s and 40s and 50s and 60s. They want to be able to dissolve the Civil Rights Act, the Civil Rights of the 50s and 60s and 70s. They want to dismantle everything that all people of color have put together, all the rights that have come upon, and that people of color have fought for during the civil rights movement. But not only that, or dismantle all the things that give women equality, that give women a 25% a seat at the table instead of a 25% seat at the table. It's not a 50%, but they want to stop they want to stop the progression and upwardly mobile movement of women to gaining equal access to power, to jobs, to payment. To financial services. But let's go ahead and put it. Women want equal pay. If I'm gonna do a job just as good as any man, I want equal pay. And in America, men don't see it that way. I don't know why, because oftentimes I notice that women can do men's jobs better and more effectively, and oftentimes are actually better at your job and smarter. But I'm not trying to man bash. That's not this episode. I'm just saying that they want to first of all dismantle the civil rights of every minority, of every woman, of every disabled person, of every all the abilities that have been given to the elderly, to those people who are LGBT, whatever the LGBT, whatever. They want to take all the things that we have gained in our society, that we have focused on moving upwardly to a better society. They want to devolve and give the seat predominantly back to 100% white male misogynist groups. And I'm not trying to be, I'm just going to put it out there. And I'm going to, I can't sugarcoat it. I'm not trying to bash anybody, but I'm asking you to look at the whole scheme of things. Today, in this society, African Americans are under attack. Black Lives Matter are under attack. African Americans are being shot in their homes, in their streets, and it can be stopped in the street. It can be stopped in the streets, made to say, "Look, it can be stopped in the streets. Rights taken, say stop. Let me search you without probable cause." African Americans being shot on their own property, without any probable cause. They can just come. I remember, look at the Breonna Taylor story. I want you to look at the Breonna Taylor. I want you to look at the Andrew Brown. I want you to look at the George Floyd situation. Are these anything probable cause? They should have been killed. African Americans need to wake up and understand is that they are under attack. There is a force being perpetuated in this society again to actually to put the boot on, to control and to put African Americans under the boot and on control. But they want a control card. They want a fictitious, actually, they want a actual shackle back on the African American. Not the fake perceived shackle. They want an actual, if they could do it, they would put a metal shackle on our asses and march us back to the fields if they could. I feel that it's back. They trying to have the back to the fields movement, and I ain't going. I don't know about you. I don't want to go. Because you know what? It took too much. We, as African Americans, predominantly built this country. It has been off the back, this blood, sweat, and tears of our ancestors, of our children, of our aunties and our mothers, and even progressively us, that America has survived, and it continues to survive, and it continues to thrive. And I believe that. I think people of color, all people of color, black and brown people everywhere, are truly there. Whatever they have is always manipulated, taken from them, taken from them, given to someone else, and actually sold in progress as the American way. And they have this new pop culture, all these different cultures, and so that everybody gets money off the African American, who is still 12% of the population, only 12% of the population, and still living in poverty. I looked on the internet yesterday, and we still only make African Americans, most African Americans only make $30,000 a year. That ain't shit, honey. That you ain't taking home nothing if you making $30,000 a year. Okay? But also not just that, is that it is a single thing, not only to shackle the woman, but it's also to shake a woman back in that misogynistic place of being in a home, being married, being in bed, to shackle them to the misogynistic belief that a man should have his boot on a woman's throat. She should be everything that he demands her to be, and if she cannot, then she should be either eliminated from society, outcast, raped, molested, shot, beat, or whatever, or killed. Okay? Because oftentimes, and I want to, in history, they do kill women who are outcasts. They do kill the women who want to rise up and against this. They hang them and kill them. And I don't care what color you are. That's just fact. But what I want to say mostly is that what hurt so much is that I was so gullible to believe I would have sent my Noah, that my sister would have defended me, my mother would have defended me, all of my old family would have defended me in the fight against electronic torture, would have said, oh hell no, I'm not letting that happen. I'm not letting it happen to my daughter, or I'm not letting it happen to my daughter. I said we didn't walk the trials that we went through growing up society and not having nothing to let my daughter sit there and look like a fool in front of all society, and everyone either perpetuate a hate crime on her or try to make it so hard for her to live that she take her own life. I really think that in this society, that if it weren't for prayer, there's some prayer. I believe that there's some prayer warriors out there for me that have prayed over me. Who There are some people who are silent, who have silent but have worked positively, and I don't know who they are, but what have worked in certain arenas to see that I have just a little bit of what I do have, because I really truly believe in this society it perpetuates killing me. It perpetuates, they can make it so hard that I want to take my own life. I want to kill myself, or that I should kill myself because this whole that nobody in this America wants me to live, nobody likes me, nobody care, and I don't really care about that. But when you have people who are in places of power, who do you wrong, and I mean not wrong, just wrong, who lie on you, that could do something to take your life, or um, like, so say somebody come and hit you, hit you in your car, and the company said because it can get away with lying on you, they came and say, well, you weren't hit, or um um something like that, to say that it's just not just that. Okay, say like um you needed medication, and you knew the proper medication that you were supposed to get. And I don't want to go into all this big, but you know what I'm talking about. It has been a perpetuating cycle of abuses that could kill me. Abuses um that can take my mind, my soul, my ability to live. It seems like I feel oftentimes that the world has solidified and said, I am going to kill Shuri Fatu as much as I can. That there is a whole people or a movement against killing me. And I'm just going to put it out there. Like, everyone knows, everyone's supposed to accept it. Everybody's supposed to go along with it, because, and I don't know why you would, because it's toxic. And I'm telling you now, if you perpetuate and you take others' rights, and you go away and you say, oh, I'm gonna take away all these people's rights, and it's not gonna affect me, that's not right. Because other people said, you took away their rights, why can't I go back and take away your rights? And politicians said, well, I took away their rights, they ain't say nothing. I took away those people's rights, they ain't say nothing. So what if I take away their rights? They ain't gonna be nobody who talking for them either. So everything you gonna say, no, you won't say nothing about their rights. Them having rights. So why should we grant you rights? And that's what I really think, really true. I think the politicians are there to control, put a control call on everybody. And I think that they get away with, okay, first it's the African American. Oh, yeah, I can get rid of that. That's so easy. African American, people of color versus African American. Then it's Latino, then it's the Asian. So we can get rid of all the people using racism. And then they said, oh, God, well, we can just put women in their place, and we can make them dogs and put them under our boots again, because they getting a little bit too mouthy. They getting too much power. They were asking for equal rights. They're asking for equal pay. So let's eliminate them. All right, then say, oh, well, the old people, shit, and we go ahead and make it stressful in their life. They ain't gonna have nothing because they can't work. They can't do nothing. We're gonna make it stressful in life. Not give them the aid and the medications or all the things that they need. Hey, we can kill them off. We can get rid of their ass in a generation. Peace. And you get rid of Social Security. You get rid of Social Security or things that they paid into, and then lastly, you have no one else. Everybody's under a boot. Everybody's under lock. Everybody's under lock and key. And those people who are prominently at the table, who progressively are at the table, are those ones that have to hold the shackle. I know that the ones that hold the chains to shackle. And I said, oh. Hey, it was easy. you wouldn't. I mean, you wouldn't take up from this specific person. Why should somebody take up for you? You all were too busy trying to dismantle over here and be distracted over here, and trying to see that human rights are under attack. That your human rights are under attack. All of us, our human rights are being under attack, especially if you are a minority or marginalized people. You're right. Special person of color or a woman, anything. Like I just did the list that I just kicked out a while ago. People are saying, politicians like, didn't you know? I mean, didn't you know that we really didn't want to give you voting rights? I mean, don't you think that's why we took zoning? I mean, every time y'all get a little power in the one zone, we rezone y'all ass out. I mean, that's what we do. I know. He said, so didn't we want to give you voting rights, and now you're getting too much voting rights, and you're doing, the right kind of, doing the right kind of electoral votes, or you're doing the right kind of electing people. Oh, nah, they're gonna got a little bit too choosing, too much power. So we're gonna take areas of rights away in there, your human rights away in that area. And progressively, as they keep on going through the right, they keep taking them back, fold them back. Oh, we don't have to give you that right. We don't have to give you, because the predominantly of people in America allow them to do that. And in the end, those people who are predominant will become the minority, and they'll have their rights taken away. And then they'll ask, oh my God, how did we get here? And the question will be like, remember that one lady right there? And everybody saw her all over the world. And everybody was taking away her rights and beating her down and all that different stuff. See, you watched her, you went around, you threw rocks at her, and all of you all were in the arena throwing rocks at her. Well, see, when you were throwing rocks at her and doing all that, you were distracted, because there's called a thief and destroyer. There's a thief and destroyer. He had you so distracted that he could come and pickpocket. It's like pickpocket your rights away. So as you were calling her a whore, thief, and thieving away from her, they came and destroyed, came and picked away your human rights. Oh, and they sign these rights in the dark while you sleep. You see, what's the name talking about? Some of those rights, some of those bills going into effect at midnight. Or also, what people don't know, they either working or watching some distracting, stupid, or being distracted because they're lonely, or making stupid stuff to go on YouTube because they're lonely, or TikTok. But because that one person, you went around, you circled around that corner, and you beat her down, those people who are governing are like, oh my God, you see how easy it is for people to do wrong? What if we did wrong to them and see what happened? And they started to do wrong. They started to say, they can get, oh my God, the most egregious wrong that they could ever do. And nobody ever said nothing. So they realized, oh my God, that what they did is the most egregious wrong they could ever do to any human being, me. He said, once they said they can do that shit to me, they said, oh man, we can do it to other blacks. We can do it to other women, other people of color. We can do this to other women. We can do it we can do that to homosexual. We can do that to elderly people. We can do that to disabled people. We can make even we can make even the homeless a specific color, to weed them out and say, ew, they're the nasty one, to jail them without rights. Why? Why? Because they can. So while you're watching me and putting me down and all that different stuff, and watching people put dicks everywhere and raping and all that different stuff, honey, somebody in the background making laws. And see, do you want to know when they publish them laws? When you asleep. They're going laws at midnight. They sit in the dark writing all those laws, and while you sleep or while you at 9 o'clock, they in there and say, all right. And they publish them laws, and you take your rights, or they'll take your rights away. So what I'm saying is that now I was so gullible to say that you all will help me. And I'm hurt that you didn't. But at the same time, is that when he hurt me, you hurt yourself. Because those politicians did the most egregious wrong. They locked and caged me in front of the whole world. And did the most egregious wrongs, pains, everything, my uterus, everything they could. No one said anything. And because they did that, and you didn't say anything, they said, if I could do it to her black ass, that one black ass, I can do it all to all them motherfuckers. Not just black, not just white, all them motherfuckers. He said I can do it to the black. I can do the Latino. Then I can get the Asians. Then I can go ahead, I can make sure I have with that. I can get the women. Put the women under the shackle. And then, like he said, I could put the elderly in their shackle. I can get them. And he said, mostly saying, he said they were trying to get them elderly. He said they can get the elderly killed off quickly. Without giving the help, aid, and pain, aid that they need. And lastly, we can get all those little crazy little people left that we can't shackle. We just gonna go and shoot them. Go on out, give them guns to shoot each other. He said those little, who they are, little Trump voters are, getting a little crazy. We're going to say, oh, yeah, look over there, he okay. Them little stupid fools, they said, well, get them guns, get them enough guns, they can shoot each other. Then after that, they were like, damn, that was easy. That was easy. Damn. Maybe they should have, they asking, damn, maybe they should do that sooner. I'm telling you, your rights, if you attack my rights, your rights under attack. We better band together. You chose not to help me. Not helping me. It says that you ain't help yourself. And I've done everything I could to let you know the truth. I have done everything until I couldn't even walk. I'm dying. And I told you the truth. I've done everything. I've done my part.